Welcome, everyone. I'm Kimberly Boschman, and this is the Intentionally Intuitive podcast. In this episode of the Weekly Compass, we're going to take a look at the energies for February 8th through the 14th, 2021. Before we get into the reading, I just want to mention that the February 2021 forecast for each life path number are up on YouTube and my podcast, so check those out if you haven't already. And this, of course, is a general reading, so if you're interested in a personalized reading, book some time with me. My information is in the description box below. I also want to mention that if you are someone who has dreams regularly and you remember those dreams and you would like to work with somebody to help you to interpret those sacred messages, I do offer extensive dream work on my website as well. So book some time with me there if you're interested in diving deeper into your dreams. Let's go ahead and get into the reading. So I usually like to start the readings off with the numerology aspect and then dive into the energy, the overall energy. So for the week. So for this week, the 8th through the 14th, we start the week off with an 8 energy. And so you may have some money on the mind at this time. Pay attention to anything that comes up for you around finances, business, and or personal power. So if there is someone or something that you feel has power over you, this is a really good time to find ways to reclaim that power or to at least begin that process. And this can tie in with money as well, because whether we realize it or not, if we have an unhealthy relationship with money, then money has control or power over us. And so it's important to start to work with that mindset or those mindsets and to start to reclaim your power over that energy and to enter into a much more healthy relationship with the energy of money. So you may see some things come into light around the beginning of the week that kind of, again, sheds light on where it is that someone or something has or you perceive them to have power over you. And this is going to be a good time to start that process, to start reclaiming your power. And that's a journey. So it may not happen overnight, and it probably will not, but it's more about the awareness and the acknowledgement of that. And then also you may see things come up around your finances or just money in general at this time. Towards the end of the week, we move into this 14-5 energy on the 14th, around then. And this can indicate change, the desire for additional freedom or independence. It can also bring about a feeling of being overly restricted. You may also see travel coming up at this time, so maybe traveling for work, traveling for pleasure, or just the desire to travel. So maybe you take like a staycation and travel with your mind through a book or an online course or something like that. Pregnancy also is coming in really strongly around this time. So you may find out you're pregnant, you may start to have those conversations with a loved one about having a baby, or you may actually give birth. Moderation is also highlighted at this time, so make sure that you are tempering, anything where you are falling into extremes. This is a really good time to take a closer look at those areas within your life where you're kind of falling into an extreme, and how can you sort of moderate and find that equilibrium and balance. Pay attention to overly competitive situations at this time, and this feels really key, and that's from that 14 energy. So the 14th obviously drills down to 5 energy, but we have the influence of that 14. So 14 energy can sometimes bring about competitive situations. So just pay attention to, how you wish to participate in that energy should it surface for you. Again, 14-5 energy can involve risk around property loss or business failure. So not saying that's going to happen with everyone or that everyone's going to see that energy, but it is definitely highlighted at this time. So just be really mindful of the risks that you choose to take at this time, okay? And how you choose to participate within that energy. Okay, so let's get into the overall energy for the week. And the beginning of the week, we have this energy sort of around a redirect. It feels like there is something that you may have been really emotionally invested in. And it's sort of time to move on from whatever this is, but there was maybe grief associated with it. There was this feeling of loss. It felt maybe really emotionally overwhelming. And like I said, you kind of need to move on from whatever this is, but your focus is stuck on the loss and the grief and, what is no longer, that sort of thing. And what's interesting is I'm really getting this energy sort of around addictions. So for you, if there's something that comes up for you around any kind of addictive behavior, or an actual addiction to a substance abuse, or addiction to whatever it is, there's so many different variables, right? But pay attention to if you are in some kind of addictive relationship, addictive behavior, if there's any kind of addiction coming up for you, there's this feeling of like being immersed in it, knowing that you need to get out of it or find a healthier route for yourself, but you're so immersed in it that it feels almost impossible. It's not impossible. And so this is going to be a time where, again, we go back to that 8 energy of something having power over you or someone. Because if you're in an addictive relationship and you're addicted to that person, they may have some level of power over you. And so again, it's this 8 energy of reclaiming your power or starting that process. And so this is an opportunity to become very aware, if you're not already, which I'm sure if you're in that behavior, you're aware of it to some degree. Become aware of it, acknowledge it, and then start the process to shift your focus, to redirect, to move away from that energy by seeking help from a therapist, by, getting help from a healer or whatever it is that calls to you. But there is this energy around feeling stuck in something that is really depleting you and depleting your energy, or being stuck in something where it's like the outcome is always the same and leaves you feeling defeated. So again, I'm really drawn back to like addictive behaviors or addictive scenarios. So if you find yourself in that kind of situation, then this is a time for that redirect. This is a time to start to shift that focus. And a lot of times we need to seek resources to help us do that. And so again, if therapy calls to you, if seeing a doctor or something like that, whatever calls to you, this is a really good time to dive into that and start that process. Again, it's something that will potentially take some time to overcome, but there's really a call here. And again, that's really highlighted with that 8 energy that we have coming in so strongly at the beginning of the week. So I feel like you're going to really notice those things that are sort of holding you back emotionally, physically, whatever the case may be. And so you need to take the first step. You're the one that needs to decide that you want to change direction, that you want to move beyond this. And so this is where, again, you may need to seek outside resources to help you do that. And there's no shame in that. Then we move into midweek, and there's this really beautiful, powerful energy of starting a new journey of being the magician within your own life. So creating whatever, your deepest desires and your greatest dreams, and starting that process and feeling uninhibited in that process. It's interesting because I'm really seeing like Legos, or like building blocks, and it's like you've just dumped them out of the box. And so you're starting fresh, you're starting clean. And I don't even know at this point that you know what it is that you want to build, but it's like that feeling of freedom and being uninhibited to create what it is, that whatever you want to create. And again, this can go back to finally realizing that you want to move beyond whatever that addiction is and feeling a sense of release. Even though you're starting that process and you haven't completed it yet, there's that sense of like freedom and release. One thing I would say about this energy is, again, it feels very expansive. It feels very bigger than life. And so I would come back to that energy of moderation and just say, as much as you can kind of temper that energy, work with it, but moderate it. And then pay attention to the details. That's going to be really important. Sometimes when things are so big and grandiose and we feel so free, we can miss the smaller details. And those smaller details are just as important as that bigger picture. And so I think it's really important as you kind of work with those building blocks that you pay attention to the details. Okay, that's coming in really, really strongly. So try not to get try not to get so consumed by this feeling of expansiveness that you, again, miss those finer details, okay? Because they're all important. Then we move into the end of the week, and it's interesting because there's definitely an energy around like work, collaboration, working with others, being a leader in some capacity, being the expert in some capacity. So you may find that you are being called upon to showcase your skills, to bid on a new contract, to try to get new clients. This does feel like people coming to you though. So it feels like maybe like you've been doing the work and now people are coming to you. This doesn't have to be necessarily business related, although it does feel very material, very physical. And so it feels like working together, collaborating. It can just be collaborating on an idea though. It doesn't necessarily have to be like actual physical labor. So yeah, so pay attention to who comes to you and what they're seeking, because again, this could be a really good opportunity to build confidence. So sometimes like we have a gift and we know we have the gift, but we're not completely confident in that gift. But then people are coming to us to seek our advice on that, with that gift. And they're coming to you for a reason. So if someone is seeking you out for your expertise, it's because they trust what you have to offer, they trust your expertise, and they trust your guidance. So find confidence within that and try not to overthink it. There's also, though, this energy, again, we're at that 14-5 energy around some kind of decision needing to be made, some kind of potential risk. So I would say, be open to what comes into you around work, around finances, around, any of those things that, around property, since that came in so specifically. And, be open to the things that come in and the people that come in for you and the messages that they hold, but be really careful about any extreme risks that you take. Okay. So if somebody has like a get rich quick scheme, I would say, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. And maybe use caution before throwing all of, your savings into whatever this is. So there's just this level of being open to what comes in for you, being willing to take, work with others and collaborate, but to also be really vigilant about any sort of extreme risks that come in. We are always our soul is always asking us to take risks and step outside of our comfort zone. So we don't want to not do that. But I think during this time and around this energy, we just need to be really, again, vigilant of anything that sounds too good to be true. And I'm just going to leave it there because I think that sums it up the best. If it comes in and you're like, wow, this is perfect. This is going to solve all of my problems. More than likely, there's more to the story that you're missing. And we're also in the middle of a Mercury Retrograde. So again, I would just say, pay attention to anything that sounds too good to be true. Okay? All right. I hope that it is a beautiful week for you all. I hope that it brings transformation, growth, and many blessings. I will be here again soon. Take care. Bye for now.